If you're watching this right now, this means that it's time for you to slow down, to stop running. You've most likely been going from event to event or gathering to gathering, doing all the things that everyone's always told you to do when it comes to trying to lead a productive, fulfilling life. But the thing most people neglect is that in order to live that fulfilling life, it's not just about filling your days with activities and people. It's also inserting yourself into those moments. Truly yourself. And not just the version of you that you think other people will like, or the version of you that you think other people will be able to digest, but you. Just you. So many of us are told that we have to fill our days with activities in order to lead a fulfilling life, and we forget that one of the most important things is sitting still and being with ourselves. In order to let Source in order to let God in, whatever it is, or whoever you believe in. And what we don't realize is that sometimes by filling our days with people and places and things, it's often a way to avoid having to confront ourselves and what we feel. If you're at a point in time right now where you feel you are tired and pushing through the day, even if it's filled with people, places, and things that are supposed to be wonderful experiences, but you feel like you are tired, you feel like you're exhausted, you feel like you're having to drink an extra cup of coffee just to make it through the day, to enjoy other people's company, then you are needing to show yourself a little bit more love. Because what is it that is keeping you from sitting in the stillness? What is it that keeps you from yourself? Now my roommate's dog is barking because my roommate's on the phone right now, talking to someone else, which I feel is a confirmation that right now you might be afraid to be on your own, to sit still with yourself. Granted, I know the dog might need a bit of extra attention. I understand that, but my question is why? It could be because maybe there's a version of you that you are trying to hold on to that you might need to let go of. And in order to let go of that version of yourself, you first have to spend some time with that version. Thank it for all the moments that it has been with you, that you've been with you. For some of you, I'm hearing a long echo of generational unrest. Echoes of people saying there's a certain way you need to be by a certain age. There's a certain way your life needs to look like. And the restlessness comes from not having your life look like that. And I'm here to tell you that You do not need to lead someone else's life. You do not need to stand by an old paradigm, an old, outdated system that is no longer serving your highest self. For some of you, you might be in jobs that you're actually no longer happy with, but you're sticking with them because that's what you were always taught you were supposed to do. That's the wage you were supposed to earn to be fulfilled and happy. And maybe in the stillness you are finding you are not happy with your life. You're not happy with your job. And perhaps it is most likely that you are forcing yourself to live a life you don't really want to live. And when I say that, I mean there's another type of life that you wish to embody. Whether that is a job that pays a little bit lower but gives you more time and less stress, so that the time you spend with others is spent in full presence instead of avoidance. Because I'm getting this energy that right now, the social interactions that you are involving yourself in are not embodying presence, they're embodying avoidance. Which means you may not, I know it sounds kind of strange, but it means that you're not there. You're not there in that moment. You are somewhere else, attempting to avoid yourself. And I know it's hard, and I know it's scary. There are a lot of shifts happening at the moment. We are entering a new state of being that requires us to be truly present and honest with ourselves. And when we are not, we feel it in our gut, in the sacral chakra, in the place of our identity. And once again, my roommate's dog is barking. That feeling of restlessness persists. Of what am I doing with my life? And why am I doing it? Who am I living this life for? And perhaps this is the 100th time you've heard a message like this. But if it is, it's because you need to hear it again. So easily we forget why we stopped doing certain things. If you were someone who had a spiritual practice or some kind of ritual to put you into a place of full presence, what is it that you don't do now that you were doing before that brought you peace? That isn't necessarily productive. In fact, this is your sign to allow yourself to be a bit unproductive. To doodle instead of draw. To write words instead of write stories. To just be in your own presence and love who you are in that presence. To allow yourself to expand into the discomfort, because I promise you, what happens is when we allow ourselves to sit still, we start to expand. We start to expand into that shell that we are currently contained in. And as we continue to expand, we reach the threshold of that shell. And we start to feel the discomfort of our expansion as we sit in that stillness. And the shell starts to crack. Like an egg, like being reborn. And we emerge almost into this feeling of chaos and uncertainty, into this new space that might feel so big and so unknown this new way of existing outside that previous shell. And we realized we were trying to fit ourselves into a space that was so small, so limiting, filled with so many distractions that we thought were moments of productivity or fulfillment, but they were all just keeping us from expanding. And that's the reminder today that productivity does not equal presence. And presence is what helps us grow. And this is just a reminder to bring balance into your life. If you have something planned today that is socializing with friends or being super productive with something, I don't know. Now, I'm not saying neglect your responsibilities, but I am saying be mindful of the things you're scheduling for yourself. And give yourself time to just sit in stillness and be with yourself, because you deserve that. And if there's a part of you that feels that you do not deserve to be unproductive, go deeper into that. What is the reason? For some of you, I hear that you might have lived a life that always required you to try hard. I sense a lot of overachievers might be watching this. People who were taught to work hard in order to be able to obtain success. You had to work hard. And working hard means not letting a moment pass by without some kind of work, some kind of something. Even if it's relaxing, you have to be doing something. Even if it's laying on the floor, you might find yourself stretching, and it's like, just lay on the floor. You don't have to stretch while you're on the floor. You don't have to do any kind of exercise. Just lay there. And take a few breaths. I feel this tightness in my chest and this feeling of wanting to hold my breath or take these short breaths in between, which tells me that you are in deep need of rest. Mindful, intentional rest, not recovery. Recovery is, I did so much, my body is making me go to sleep or making me take a nap. It's not intentional, it's consequential of overloading our schedules. What is needed right now is intentional rest. A decision to not do anything, to allow yourself to just melt into your existence. To let yourself take deep breaths instead of shallow breaths. To let your mind race until it relaxes. Let the wave come and then let it pass. As Ram Dass once said, let the judgments and opinions of the mind be judgments and opinions of the mind, and you exist behind that. Let them come in and observe them and just let them, and exist behind that, like the quiet observer of your own thoughts, emotions, and feelings. And I think that's it for today. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. despite the overload you might be experiencing. And I hope you find time for rest and relaxation, because you deserve it. Either way, I'm wishing you all the love and all the magic.